Welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio. My name is April, and our practice today is going to be focused on an area of the body that a lot of us feel some tension, some tightness, and possibly some discomfort. And for those of you who suffer from sciatica, I have been one of those, you'll understand just how very painful that can be. So what we're working with is the piriformis muscle. So this may be a muscle that you have not heard much about, and it's because we don't refer to it very often. But what it does is a lot of the muscles of the glutes run outward or down, but this one runs across, and it's a little tiny muscle that kind of runs a little bit crossways. It helps rotate the hip out, and it's a muscle that your sciatic nerve either runs behind, through, or in front of. So you can see that if you're someone with a different anatomy in which that sciatic nerve runs through, any kind of tightness or over-tensing of this piriformis muscle will result in some compression on that sciatic nerve. And oftentimes you will be someone who suffers from sciatic nerve issues more often than others. Kind of opening this space, we're going to kind of work with different poses to kind of bring a little bit more opening, a little bit more space, a little bit more room, and just become more aware of this area in general. All you're going to need is one blanket today. If you want a blanket underneath for your comfort, please include that there. But if you don't have to have that. So we're going to start in butterfly pose. So you can sit up on the edge of that blanket, bring the bottoms of the feet together, and we're going to bring them a little bit closer. So sometimes we take them further away. This is going to be an example pulling them a little bit closer. So as you see, we're rotating the hips open. Sit up nice and tall, and then just let your hands slide down, let you slide down with it. Just breathing into the space, and you can feel as you breathe and exhale that those knees tend to fall open just a little bit more. Remember that in yin, we're not looking for inches, we're looking for millimeters and centimeters, and just feeling things release a little bit, and that may not look like a whole lot. Settling into your breath, extending your exhale longer to help the body settle into that parasympathetic nervous system and help you release the tension and tightness. Bringing your awareness to this space that kind of runs crossways about the middle, what we sometimes refer to as the dimple of the glute muscles. And take this first pose and these first few breaths to bring yourself to your practice. Coming into our last few breaths here. Feeling the breath smooth out more. Gently start to lift your head and take your hands and start to walk them towards your hips. Now here you can lean back and just wave your butterfly wings. Then gently we're going to flip ourselves over and we're going to come into flying dragon. I know dragon poses are not everybody's best friend, but we're going to try to make the best of it. Take our blanket here, fold it up so that we get some softness on the knees. We're going to start with that right foot first. We're going to come into a flying dragon. So hands to the inside, walk that right foot over to the right, turn it out at a right ankle. Lift that back knee and kind of pull yourself forward so you're on the top side of the knee instead of directly on the kneecap. Now here you can take your hands down to the floor. You can take fingertips to the floor if that's too far away, a block or a bolster. Or if you have that space, you can go ahead and take the forearms down to the floor. Think about allowing the hips to soften toward the floor instead of the head or the neck. Let everything be soft. And if as time and breath allow you, you feel that opening starting to happen a little bit more, you can start to rotate that knee out a little bit more. Remember, there's this perfect balance of effort and ease in your yin practice. Coming to your edge, pulling back just a little bit, and then kind of hanging out for an amount of time. These last few breaths, letting everything soften a little bit more, letting the shoulders kind of pull back toward the heel. Releasing tension throughout the upper back as well. And then starting to bring that right foot flat. We're going to start to make our way and shift back into downward facing dog. Walking your dog out, finding a little movement in the hips, maybe shaking the head out. And then gently moving to our second side. Taking that left foot out in front. Here again, turning it out to the left, walking it out a little bit, rolling to the outside edge if that feels good for you. Lifting that back knee, pulling it down, and then pulling yourself forward just a little bit so you land on the top side of the knee instead of directly on the kneecap. You may find this side you have more space to come down lower. You may find this side is a little bit less, I would say more reticent to go down further, and adjust accordingly. Connect to the breath and check in with whatever you're feeling. Notice the differences between left and right. Just sensing the pose in your body. Start to bring that left foot flat again. Slowly, very slowly, shift yourself back to downward facing dog. Walk your dog out. Shake your head out, yes and no. And coming back down, you're going to bring that right knee over to that right wrist. I'm going to come into a pigeon. Now in yin we call this Swan Pose. If you want a little bit more lift, you can leave that blanket there. You might also pad your knee on the back side. Lift up into Swan to start with just a couple of breaths. And then maybe adjust that knee out a little bit further, maybe not, and fold yourself all the way down. So that may be hands on the floor, forearms on the floor. Find your space. Use whatever props you need. With each exhale, feel your back lengthen out. Maybe your hips drift a little further toward the floor. Gently start to lift yourself back up into Swan out of Sleeping Swan. lift, and then gently step back to downward facing dog. Walk your dog out if that feels good for you, or stay still. And then switching sides, coming down on hands and knees, take that left knee over to that left wrist. Walk that right leg back. Take a few breaths here in Swan. Maybe shifting that knee out a little bit further or keeping it where it is. Slowly bring yourself down to wherever you feel you can sustain for a few minutes. Let the breath lengthen your spine, soften you toward the floor. Just a few more deep breaths. Gently start to make your way back up. Lift up into Swan, and then gently step yourself back to downward facing dog. So go ahead and come back down onto your knees. We're going to take shoelace pose. So you can use your blanket to give you a little padding behind you. I like to take my right in front of my left to start with, so remember where I started. Crossing right over left. Maybe getting your blanket back from the cat. Tucking it either behind you or using a block to sit on. If you find that you can come all the way down to the floor with your feet out to this side, please feel comfortable doing that, but some people cannot. Sit up nice and tall, and then go ahead and start to fold forward. Now, when you start to feel that sensation, you'll feel it right in that piriformis, the center of your glute muscle. And start to lean forward. Find that place where you can hang out for a few breaths. And just breathe into that space. I think of each breath as sort of making more space there, giving you a little more room for that sciatic nerve. Checking in with your breath. Noticing if you're holding some tension in your breath. Extending that exhale, softening, allowing. Gently starting to walk the hands back toward the hips, coming all the way up. Unwind that right from left. Sit back. Take a few breaths here, windshield wipering those knees side to side, or you can stay very still if that works better for you. Noticing how right feels in comparison to left. And then switching sides, taking that left over that right, using whatever props you need to give yourself support. Taking a moment to settle into the pose upright, sensing that left piriformis. And then go ahead and start to fold yourself forward. You can stay upright or you can fold as deeply as you feel comfortable, remaining for 3 minutes. These last few breaths, see if you can soften everything even more, releasing that area around the piriformis, giving yourself a little more space there. Drawing your awareness to that space, sensing what you feel there. Starting to walk your hands all the way back up to center. Unwind very slowly. Take your legs out in front, windshield wiper, or just take those legs straight if that feels better for you. then coming all the way down onto your back. So we're going to take twisted roots here. So go ahead and take the arms out to the side, palms facing up. You're going to cross that right leg over that left. Shift your hips way over to the right and drop those knees over to the left, being cognizant of your cat. If you want, you can lift your head and turn and look over that right shoulder. So if you're someone who can double cross, you can try double crossing. It's a little bit more for your calves, or you can just hang out here in a single crossed over leg shoelace. Close your eyes. Let your exhale allow your back to wind and unwind. Heading into our last minute in this pose. Gently turning your head back to center, engaging your core, bringing those knees back through the middle, unwinding, shifting those hips down the center, feet wide, knees together. Take a few breaths here, enjoying the rebound pose. Sensing how left and right may feel different now. And then switching sides. So taking that left over right, shifting the hips a little bit over to the left, dropping the knees over to the right. Here again, you can lift your head and turn and look over that left shoulder, or keep it looking straight up. Gently turning your head back to center, engaging the core, bringing those knees all the way back up through the middle, walking the feet wide, dropping the knees together. Taking some nice, full, rich breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And then staying here, or if you prefer, taking your legs out into Savasana, hands alongside the hips or hands to belly, hands to heart. Coming back to your breath, allowing it to just naturally extend. And here, bring your awareness to this space that we've been working with, this piriformis, the center of the glutes. Sensing that there's a little bit more space, more opening. If you have more time for Shavasana, please feel free to stay here as long as you can. Just enjoying being quiet and still and resting. But if this is all the time that you have today, go ahead and stretch your feet out, toes pointed, arms up overhead, stretch through the fingertips, stretch through the toes. Then exhale, bring the knees into the chest, give them a little squeeze. And then roll over to your right side, taking a couple of breaths here on your right. And then when you feel ready, pressing yourself up into whatever seated position you like best. Keeping your eyes closed or open. Hands palms up or palms down onto your knees. On your next exhale, drop those fingertips down to the floor. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up overhead. Open your eyes, look up at your palms. Exhale, hands to heart. Peace and namaste. I hope you enjoyed this practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this made a little bit more space in that area and brought a little bit more awareness to this. Not many people know much about what we call piriformis syndrome, which is that piriformis affecting the sciatic nerve. If you are with a healthcare practitioner that you feel comfortable discussing this with, or a physical therapist, have a conversation about this and see if this might be what is going on with you and some suggestions they might have for daily exercises, things you should and should not do, or some suggestions. And if you liked this practice, please like and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And please, if you're not a subscriber, join me by clicking that button over here to your right. Each Thursday morning, I upload a brand new video every single Thursday, so I'd love to see you back here. If you are looking for more practices like this and others, please join me on my member site at theyogaranger.vhx.tv. Link is up above and down below. Live calls every month to discuss what's going on in your practice, questions you may have about yoga or healthy living. Pretty much any topic is covered. Just let me know what you think. A private Facebook group, exclusive videos there, 5 a month, lots of extras and things added on there, and a beautiful site to work with that has an app that you can download and sync those videos and watch them offline as well. So please check it out. It does a 7-day free trial. Would love to see you there. But if not there, love to see you back here on YouTube each Thursday. Have a great week.